The Vampire Diaries is well known for being a supernatural teen drama TV show that's packed with romance at every turn. Though the most famous love triangle was between Elena, Nina Dobrev, Stefan, Paul Wesley, and Damon, Ian Somerhalder, they were far from the only characters whose relationship sparked discussion. When fans, critics, and even actors in the show reflected on the ups and downs of the Vampire Diaries story, they often remembered some of the most controversial love plots as some of the best parts of the series. The Vampire Diaries is one of the few fantasy TV shows from the 2000s that hold up today, as it's been lauded as one of the best vampire TV series of the 21st century. While the magic and lore have a lot to do with the Vampire Diaries' longevity and legacy, the characters and their relationships are what keep us coming back to the show. Even when there's disagreement about whether two characters belong together, the Vampire Diaries does a good job of making every relationship believable and sweet, no matter how contentious it is. Ian Somerhalder is right, Stefan and Caroline's Vampire Diaries romance wasn't that terrible. This disputed love story had a lot going for it. In a recent statement, Ian Somerhalder's response to Stefan and Caroline's relationship summed up our feelings about this love plot. Caroline, Candice King, and Stefan might not have been a fan-favorite couple that people were rooting for from the beginning, but this pairing doesn't deserve the hate it gets. Elena decided that Damon was her true love, and this left Stefan high and dry. He had to look for someone to fill the void Elena left. However, it would be a mistake to believe that he fell in love with Caroline simply to replace Elena. As Somerhalder said, there were some genuinely romantic and compelling parts of Stefan and Caroline's courtship, and there weren't many other romances that would have made sense for the characters. With a strong foundation of friendship and trust, Stefan and Caroline didn't have to suffer or work hard to develop their feelings for each other, making them a much less melodramatic pair than other couples on the show. However, this didn't make them any less passionate, even if the series didn't handle the build-up to their love confessions perfectly. Despite its positives, Stefan and Caroline's relationship did feel forced at the end. There are plenty of valid criticisms of their romance. In some ways, the chemistry that flowed so naturally when Caroline and Stefan were friends didn't translate perfectly to a romantic partnership. There wasn't enough organic lead-up and passionate tension to make the audience fully believe that this was a natural fit for both characters. This can sometimes happen when the writers of a show don't initially plan for two characters to get together and don't take the time to establish their connection before committing to the love story. With a little more planning, see additionally, since both characters had spent so long as friends and had such clear boundaries in this aspect of their relationship, it almost came out of nowhere when they pivoted to romance. Many of the pitfalls and plot devices that were used in Stefan's love story with Elena and Caroline's relationships with characters like Matt and Tyler appeared again when the Vampire Diaries was pairing off Stefan and Caroline. Unfortunately, this didn't make their love more tangible and ended up making their storyline feel repetitive instead of fresh. This controversial Vampire Diaries romance was better before it took off. Stefan and Caroline had a great foundation that the Vampire Diaries fumbled. Stefan and Caroline's romance had been teased since season 2. However, there's an argument to be made that the pair were better off as friends. Their chemistry worked extremely well platonically, and this could have slowly transitioned to romance if the Vampire Diaries had planned a trajectory for this relationship in advance. There are plenty of sensitive and vulnerable moments shared between Stefan and Caroline early on in the series, so there's no reason why the Vampire Diaries couldn't have worked in more tension alongside these scenes. When they were friends, Stefan and Caroline were considered one of the best duos in the Vampire Diaries. Their adventures together and the advice they shared came from a place of genuine respect and admiration, which differed sharply from their romantic relationships. There was a way that the Vampire Diaries could have made their romance not only effective but also a healthy change for them both. However, the series didn't know the right way to execute this, leaving the potential for an epic love between the characters unrealized.